Well, I've gotten down to the point where these carburetor boots, these connect the carburetors to the engine, of course, and these are 40, 30 some years old, 38, 39 years old, and they tend to harden with time, and these are from a 1978 Honda CB750F. In particular, they have to be for that model. I think there's 2 years they can fit, and they don't make them anymore. They're non-existent. So I found some in a can't remember the name of the company. I'll try to post it. And somebody's remaking these, and they are $25 a piece. Or you get four for $100, which isn't bad because I couldn't find them anywhere. They didn't exist. So I was desperate to get these back. These were hard as a rock. If you hit them with a hammer, you'd probably crack them. You know, they wouldn't seal anymore, I'm sure, the way they fit. And they've got little ledges in there. Everything's got to snap in it, and it has to seal up with a clamp. And when you put the clamp on it, you know, you could get, some sort of a fold in there where it wouldn't be tight. And if it sucks air, you're not going to have much of an idle. So I looked around. I found several ways to try to soften old rubber parts, and these are old rubber parts. And these parts are the originals, and I couldn't really find any way to soften them up. Only when I heated them, but as soon as they cooled off, they were hard again. So somebody said something about wintergreen oil and alcohols and a couple of different great ideas. But the one I heard was somebody said, I used brake fluid. I soaked them in brake fluid for a couple of weeks, and I thought, I'll try that. So I soaked one, and not really any noticeable difference that I noticed. And I said, you know what, why don't I heat them up and soak them? So I found this, my wife has this potpourri heating, it's like a little crock pot. You put water, liquid in it. And what I did was I put brake fluid in this small mason jar type thing, and I soaked these in the brake fluid, in the heated. I'm not sure how hot that is. I'll have to check it. And I keep them in there. I've had them in there for 2 days. Okay. Now these things were hard as a rock. I mean, I'm talking just unusable. Whoops. There's some more brake fluid. And so I've soaked this one here for 2 days. A good 2 days, I think this one's been in there. Let me see if I can just get this. All right, now you got to remember it's warm right now. This boot's warm, and when they're warm, that's cheating because they don't stay warm when the motorcycle's out in the cold or whatever, and it cools off. But as it's warm, I guess while the engine's warm, they soften up to some extent. But these, like I say, are hard as a rock. They'd probably break like glass. Now look at them. I mean, they're like just supple as could be. This is warm, and it just came out of the brake fluid. And nice, right? But these were in there a couple days, and now they've cooled off. They're still way better than they were. I mean, this part here is great. The thick part's the part that I'm concerned with. But this is it's been sitting out of the fluid for a couple days now. Well, that one's been in there, and looking good. I mean, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some new fluid in. I got to buy a new bottle of fluid, and I'll run them all through one more time with some new fluid. This is what happens to them when they're sitting. This was dried off, just as dry as a bone like that. And as it would sit, it weeps. So I guess the oils, the brake fluid, weeps back out of the plastic somehow. I guess as it cools off, maybe? I don't know. And they get wet again. So there's something in that I don't understand, but just goes to show you this stuff is absorbing into the rubber, and it's coming out as it cools off. Now this one here was weeping, and it's usable. It's usable. The front, and this is great, of course. But they're all going to get run through again, and I just might be able to use the original pieces. That would be great. I mean, like I say, this thing is great. I wish it would stay like that, just like brand new. But yeah, so I save $100. I can use the $100 for something like master cylinder rebuild kit, or I need a carburetor kit. I could use that. You know, I could get all these things for $100 I could save from these. And I like using the original parts whenever I can. So we're going to look into it a little bit deeper, and I hope this works out. So this is what's happening now. Pretty good idea. Brake fluid, something to keep them warm, a couple days, submerged, and made a huge difference. You know, I got to thinking, this has these carburetors have an accelerator pump in them. There's a pump in here that's activated by a cam here that pushes down a shaft, which pushes a little bellows in here, and that bellows pushes up the gasoline through these tubes, which in turn squirts through these tubes right here. And that is an accelerator pump. They quit using that, I think in '78 was the last year, because it richens the mixture, you know. Well, that pump, that's $25. I mean, whatever, for the kit. You know, it's just a little bellows. I'm wondering if that thing, you know, could be softened as well in this procedure, in this brake fluid. I'm going to take it out and see. It's a separate piece. It doesn't come with a carburetor kit. I'm going to see if I can soften that up, and what the heck, doesn't work. I'm going to get a new one anyway. Just one more thing to try out here. We'll see how it goes. Battery's going dead. I pulled the cap off of this, and well, it's clean as a whistle. I pulled that off. It's got a little check valve in it and what have you, and a spring. Here it is. I'm going to get it out now as we speak. Dang thing looks brand new. I wonder if I bought one and didn't remember. I might have. Bet you I did. Let me get this out carefully. See how brittle it is, and if it's not too bad. This is a new one. I must have bought a new one. Okay, we don't need to do that. I'm going to soak it anyway and just see if freshen it up a little bit. But yeah, we got to get that accelerator pump working. That's huge. Very good.